Welcome, Avengers, to S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. Or at least it's my house with a shield in it. It's close enough, I guess. So this week's theme on Thingamavlogs was Avengers, because last week Avengers 2 came out. Real quick, as a heads up, this video will contain spoilers. I know I've got Captain America stuff everywhere because he's my favorite Avenger, but instead of just focusing on him, I actually want to talk about the entire movie. So, get out of here if you don't want to be spoiled. So I figured I'd break this down into the pros and the cons and keep it simple that way. So first, let me give you the Cliff Notes version of this movie. High five, we're awesome, teamwork, cool. Sun's getting awful low. I'm Ultron. Where'd you come from? I don't know. Dun, 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 dun. We saved the day. That's it. That's the movie. But now for the real one. I like this movie. The end. So first I want to talk about the pros. Here are some of the things that I did like about the movie. Needless to say, the action in the movie was amazing. And it actually was the best part of the movie because it was what drove the movie through. And the choreography was great, the stunts were amazing, the visual effects were off the charts. The CGI was good, but there were moments when you knew it was CGI. Whenever there's a human involved, they don't quite get it. And I feel like that's just a problem across all movies everywhere. Other than those few moments in between, it's very easy to get lost in the visual effects because they're very believable and you really do feel like there's a giant massive Hulk running around punching the crap out of people. So that's good. And that's another compliment I want to pay to this movie. It actually felt like I was watching a comic. Literally, the movie is so fast paced. It goes from one moment to another moment. It feels like you're going from panel to panel to panel in a comic book. And I will say, the movie is actually pretty funny. I know it doesn't seem like it should be a funny movie, but it keeps a sort of lighthearted tone, strangely enough, which kind of is compelling in a strange way because it reminds you that you're watching a comic book movie. Another cool thing that the movie does is it actually ties the Marvel Universe together a little better than the other movies have in the past. But this movie in particular filled in a lot of blanks. So Thor actively mentions the Infinity Stones, and they're actually calling them that now. But also you get a mention of Wakanda, where they go to get the vibranium to create Vision's body and what Captain America's shield is made out of. But Wakanda is the home of the Black Panther, for the 5 of you that don't know that, which alludes to the Black Panther movie, which is coming in the future. It's interesting because they start building the character dynamic between Tony and Steve as sort of having opposing views about how the world should be protected. And obviously that's alluding to the Civil War. What it shows is that Tony Stark thinks he's always making the right decision, but he's such a narcissist that only his opinion matters. He completely bypasses the team, which obviously rubs Captain America the wrong way, who's a complete team player. Then you have the other characters, which didn't get as much development as I would have liked, but still some. Actually, Thor got nothing. He was just Thor the whole time. He got to go dip himself in the waters, which I hated. Oh, suddenly every planet has a pool of water you can dip into and look really sexy in, and all of a sudden all the secrets will be revealed. Nah. But you did have that farm scene with Hawkeye, which a lot of people will argue was kind of unnecessary, but I really, really like, because it goes to remind you that there is an element of humanity to the Avengers. There's a line in the movie when Black Widow is tending to Hawkeye, where she says the team likes to pretend that they need him because it really brings them all together. And although it was a joke, it's true. I mean, think about it. But they add that element of humanity to the team. It's what keeps everybody in check. And I think that's why that scene was so important. Not only is Hawkeye an asset, yes, he's an asset. I mean, who else can shoot a bow and arrow like him? But theoretically, he gets less arrows than a machine gun has bullets. Just carry a gun, dude. No, I get it. The arrows blow up, whatever. Also, how about that wood scene, huh? Gratuitous manly sexiness? I loved it. So smexy. Now let's move on to the cons. Ooh, the bad stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love the movie, but baby, you gotta work on some things, you know what I'm saying? First of all, the biggest gripe I have with this movie is all of the plot devices were substantially weak. Think about it, anytime the movie had to transition from one major event to the next, it was kind of flimsy at best. Tony sort of explains that the Ultron program was, I guess, the shell of a program that needed to be filled with some sort of artificial intelligence to protect the world. Who knows what they're actually doing there? They're the geniuses. I'm just a dude sitting in my living room with a fake Captain America shield behind me. Don't listen to me. But a little flimsy, let's be fair. Additionally, when he makes the Vision's body, the Iron Legion is fighting them back, and then they break the heads off, and the heads attach to the trailer of the truck and fly off. I'm like, why is Tony Stark installing repulsor jets in the necks of his robots? That just didn't make sense to me. It was like they were just making up things. Granted, in a universe with a Hulk and a Norse god flying to Earth, I get it, it's a lot of made up magic stuff. At least be consistent within your own universe. Why would you have that installed in your robot? That just doesn't make any sense. It's still cool, but come on. And let's go to Ultron. I get that he has an absolute perspective on how the world should be, and that is a world without the Avengers and ultimately a world without humans, and that's in place to contrast Tony Stark's perspective. You know, he was kind of built by Tony Stark, he comes from Tony Stark's technology, but that doesn't really explain why he has his personality. Also, I never really felt like he was a physical threat to the team. And I know that his threat is in his numbers and his presence in not one physical form, but anytime they fought him, it never felt like they were in true danger. Iron Man goes toe-to-toe with them, Thor goes toe-to-toe with them, even Captain America holds his own after Clint tells him, "You're no match for him, Cap," and he's like, "Thanks, Barton." Why is he building these suits if they're not even powerful? That was just weird to me. Also, what's up with the metal lips? Additionally, all of the Iron Legion bots that they fight are also kind of flimsy, and they're inconsistent in their flimsiness. When they first fight them in Stark's tower, the team struggles with them. They're jumping on their backs, they're poking them with sticks, and there's like 3 of them. Later on, there's like 40,000 of them, and Quicksilver's just running around slapping them. So in order to make the threat feel real, the final plot device was that they make the city float and thrust it towards the ground, that it would crash into the world like a meteor, extinguishing life. I get it's a comic book movie, but what? That's crazy. Which brings me to my final gripe with the plot devices, is Nick Fury showing up to save the day in the helicarrier. Every time something goes wrong and there's no hope at the end of the tunnel, Nick Fury shows up somehow with like 100 new agents that are completely trustworthy and some sort of device to save the day. Why does he keep getting these resources, and why wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D. solely composed of those people in the first place? Like, what's their hiring process that they can just go back out and get 100 more people and be like, "Hey, can you fly this giant battle carrier in the air?" Yeah, I'm qualified for that. Great. Too convenient, Nick Fury. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. But you know what? You're not the director of me. But overall, it was an amazing movie. Every single one of those problems that I outlined was something that I could easily overlook. I just wanted to point out all the holes that I found in the movie. As a nerd and as a fan, those are the things that stand out. That just speaks to the power of the film, that you can just forget about all that, because we've grown attached to all these characters into this series over time, and it's awesome. Go see it.